Hey guys, welcome to Unit 1, Lesson 5, and we're going to be talking about writing equations in slope-intercept form. So if you'll recall, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. And don't forget, y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis and not the x-axis. So right here, that's our y-intercept. Okay, so write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form, so this form, with a slope of -2 and a y-intercept of 5. So this is about as easy as it gets. So we are going to say y equals, instead of m, we're going to replace the m with the -2 x plus b. Instead of b, we're including that 5. And so our equation is y equals -2x plus 5. Okay, well, what if we have a graph like we do over here? So it's write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form. So y equals mx plus b, given the following graph. Okay, so what do we know? We know we have these 2 points. So one of the points is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 0, 5. And the other point is 2, 2. So that's going to help us here in a little bit. Something big to point out is that it crosses the y-axis right here at 5. So 5 is going to be our b. That's going to help us out. So I already know that it's y equals something x plus b. So in this case, we need our slope. And there's 2 ways to get slope. So we talked the other day about finding slope using the slope formula, the y minus y over x minus x. But in this case, I think it's a little bit easier just to do rise over run. So I'm going to start with one of the points. I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 3. And then over 1, 2. It's negative, so it's going downhill. So if we have a rise over run, so we have a rise of 3 and a run of 2, it's going to be a negative slope because it's going downhill, so -3 over 2. So our final answer is going to be -3 over 2x plus 5. Okay, as we keep going, we've talked about these weird situations where we either have a horizontal in this case or vertical in this case. And remember, if you have the same x values, then you're going to have a vertical line. So this is going to be x equals, because you have, like in this case, x equals -2. What is this point? 1, 2, 3, 4, -4, and -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so notice that these -2's repeat in both the formulas. You also have -2, 0, and -2, 1, and -2, 2. So this is a case of x is equal to -2. Over here, notice that your y values are all the same. So we have y equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 0, 6. We have 1, 6. We have 2, 6. We have 3, 6. We just keep going, but all of our y values are the same. So when you have a repeating y value, that gives you the hint that it's going to be y equals something. Okay, well, this one gets a little bit trickier because not only do we have a horizontal or vertical line, we don't have that. We have not a nice y-intercept. So we can't cheat and plug in a b for our y-intercept. So we are going to have to use these 2 points here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get our slope. So we have 2 things that we have to find. We have our slope right here, and we have our y-intercept. I already know that my y-intercept is going to be like a fraction, but I don't know what that is yet. So let's just start with the slope. So the slope, the first thing I notice is a positive slope because it's going uphill. And we have a rise of 1, 2, 3, and a run of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 3/6, I'm going to simplify that to 1/2. But I still don't know my y, or my y-intercept. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of the points. Let's go back up here. Let's use 1, 2, 3, -3, 1. So I'm going to use the point -3, 1, and we could use the other point, no problem. And I'm going to put that into point slope form. So I'm going to say y minus 1 is equal to 1/2 x plus 3. So remember point slope form the other day, you kind of crisscross and do opposite. So our y's go first and then our x, and we're just going to clean it up now from here. So we haven't done this yet. We're going to distribute this 1/2 and then finally add that 1 over. So let me show you. So I have y minus 1 is equal to 1/2 x plus, and if I distribute that 1/2, it's going to be 3/2. And then the last thing I'm going to do is add 1 to both sides. And if you add 1 to both sides or type it in your calculator, oops, these cancel and I get y is equal to 1/2 x plus 5/2. And so that is my equation for this. Y equals 1/2 x plus 5/2. Okay, now we're going to make it one step more difficult. So let's pretend that we don't have a graph. And so we're going to have to determine the slope. So remember the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And remember, don't get freaked out about the 2's and the 1's. It just tells you to keep the direction consistent. So this tells you to go right to left, and we talked about how you could go left to right, but you just need to go the same direction for both of them. Okay, and then as we saw in the last problem, we're going to put that into point slope form using one of the points and then our new slope that we just found. And then finally, we're going to solve for y. So really, we're just doing one extra step from what we did before. So let's see. I'm going to find the slope. So I'm going to say 9 minus -8, which turns into a 9 plus 8. And then 0 minus 3. 9 plus 8, that's 17 over -3. So I know that's going to be going downhill. I know my line is going to look something like that because that slope is negative. Okay, so from here, what we're going to do is we are going to just put it into point slope form. Okay, and I'm just going to use that first one. So this one right here, I'm going to do the opposite of the y, so y plus 8, and then my slope, and then the opposite of the x minus 3. And then my first step, just like we did a while ago, I'm going to distribute this -17/3. So I have y plus 8 equals -17/3x plus 51/3. And again, make sure you can do that on your calculator and know how to get that in fraction form. And then I'm going to subtract 8 from that. And again, this answer is going to be in fraction form. So my final answer is going to be y equals -17/3x and then plus 9. But we could have done this so much easier. Does anybody see what I could have done that would have made this a lot easier? Okay, if I would have, I'm going to give you a hint right here. If I would have chosen that point, that would have made that a lot easier. So I'm going to go back to this page. And so remember right here, we had 0, 5. Anything 0, that's going to be your y-intercept. That is a cheat. And so let's go back here and I'll show you. So this 9 was actually our y-intercept. And so I could have picked that out right from the very beginning. So again, you don't have to know that, but that is a super nice cheat to know. So if I would have showed you that way, then I would have just had to find the slope and then just put down that 9. So that makes it a lot easier. This one is not like that. So what I encourage you to do is go ahead and try to find the slope and the y-intercept and put it into slope-intercept form and see how you do. Okay, so the first thing you should see is the slope is -1/4. So again, I know that that line is going downhill. Go ahead and try to find the y-intercept. Okay, so your y-intercept should have been 3. Notice what I did here. I distributed that -1/4, and when I did that, that ended up being a nice number 1. And then I'm just going to add that 2 over to get my my equation in slope-intercept form. Okay, we've kind of talked about this before, but when you have this kind of setup, that is called function notation. And again, you can just pull the coordinate point out of this because f of x is equal to y. So it's the same way of giving you, or it's a different way of giving you the same information as a coordinate point. So don't get freaked out by that. You're going to see that. So we're going to do 0, 5 down here and 2, -4. And again, I want to encourage you to use this point versus this point because this is going to give us our y-intercept. So we can do the creep this time. Okay, so we're going to find the slope. So the slope is -4 minus 5 over 2 minus 0. So -9 over 2. And so what's cool about this is I can just jump right from there to the answer, and I get -9 over 2x plus 5, and I am done.